How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
I'm gonna say,
or who has more?
I'm gonna say Diggs, and I could be wrong. Anyone watching this, if I'm wrong with that, let me know in the comments. But I'm gonna assume NFL contracts are just, and he's a superstar.
Crazy.
He's a superstar.
Right.
It's not like he's coming off the bench. But go on.
You know, while we doing this, I'm about to go look right now because But okay.
No, you could look into it, and I'm just gonna say this while you look into this, because I mentioned the age. So Cardi B's 32, and Nicki Minaj is 42, 10 years apart.
Right.
And the reason why age is relevant in this conversation is because, again, and this is, I really don't want to make this like I'm bashing either Cardi B or Nicki Minaj. I really would prefer this episode to be something where one leaves this episode and they say, "Oh, okay, that's maybe a good solution." I would like a positive resolve to this. And my thing is, this is just a reflection of the black community in general, the black and brown community. And correct me if I'm wrong. This is a reflection of the black and brown community. It doesn't matter what names you put in there. This is how we function when we have money. We function like this when we don't have money. All right.
Right.
But
now let's stay on the topic of everything with the men. Right. So
okay.
All right. We already talked about how the husband, Nicki's husband, is repping a certain thing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we get to Cardi and Stephen, right? I just looked up both of their net worths. They're pretty close to each other. Like Cardi, and I'm just looking up. I'm just talking about what I've seen on Google, right?
Okay.
Cardi is estimated 80. Stephen is estimated 60.
Wow.
So that's kind of close. So there's no real breadwinner between the two. They both get into a bag, right? But there's also the layer of Cardi. She represents a certain thing, right?
Which I think is
which
I think is the same thing that Nicki's husband represents, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, but it's different subsets under
fractions, different fractions. Okay,
right. So,
and even that's crazy to even say that doesn't even bring a resolve.
But even that, because of the different factions under that umbrella, some of those factions are beefing with each other, which is stupid. But there's so many different layers to it that kind of make it tough for this to even be a thing that can be resolved. What avenue do they go? Do they go the civilian route, or do they have to go through whatever they're repping to make this? You get what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to even figure that
out. I would say definitely not the route of what they're affiliated with. That's never going to be the option. The option would have to be, again, and the reason why I'm laying this on the men is because the men are supposed to lead. So
right,
I'm leaving this on the men. See, this conversation has so many layers in itself, because
this is what I was getting
but
at.
That's what makes it a good thing to discuss this and open up the minds to how deep this is. Here's the thing.
Who knows if Stephen feel like, yo, this guy ain't worth nothing. What am I talking to him for? Because you have some people that feel like
involved.
That. But then I believe that. But then you also got Nicki Minaj's husband, who might feel like, yo, I'm repping what I need to talk to this civilian football player for. Like, all those things can kind of play into that. So it's tough to even see how the men can really even get together and, try to make something happen, which it should be able to happen.
I think they have to find a common goal. And here's the thing. This is why I brought up the age. Nicki Minaj being 42, Cardi B, I believe I said 32.
Yeah.
At what point, who's going to be the mature person? Or both women or both men incapable of stepping up to the plate? Somebody has to be mature, because it's safe to say none of them are extremely young. All
Right.
right. So at what age? What age and I have to bring it back to the community. I know we're talking about these two, but this is bigger than these two individuals. At what age do we actually act? Like we have wherewithal. At what age
Right.
does that begin? Because at 42, to be ranting at the Breakfast Club, and I like both of them. Let me make that clear. I like both of them. I like some of the songs they have. Am I super fans of theirs? No,
Right.
but I like some of their music. I definitely like some of their music, both of them. Which is why
Right.
when I hear that it resurfaced that they're arguing, I'm like, this is just childish. So
It
at
is.
what age does someone step up to the plate? Someone's got to step up to the plate. I don't know that. I didn't look up the ages of Diggs. I didn't look up the age of Nicki Minaj's husband. But
Shit, everybody grown. That's really all that matters.
everybody is grown. Come on. And then on top of that, for both women, at some point, let's just say Cardi B and Diggs gets married, right?
Right.
And even if they don't, they seem like they're pretty tight. They're having a baby. My thing is, they entrusted these men to be the men in their lives. So if they're
Right.
not, and this is why there's layers to this conversation. The conversation can't just be about dollar amount, because that's the problem in life in general. That's a problem in the United States. That's not even a problem
Right.
that if it's the money, if money is what's going to give the men the respect to lead, then the relationship started off on the wrong foot in the first place. Because it
Right.
shouldn't have to be a discussion of, well, this person is making this amount and it's close to, I understand why we had to take it there, but if that's what determines whether or not the man has a say in leading, then you should have never been with that guy. Because honestly, if I'm married to Nicki Minaj and I'm not making enough money, I would feel less than, and I'd feel disrespected if I try to step up and make a decision and she's trying to like tone me down because she's the breadwinner. That would be enough for me to walk. Now I know people would say, "Oh, you wouldn't leave that. She making that much money." Yeah, I would leave. I would leave because I just couldn't. I don't know about other men out there, but I couldn't be with a female who, because she makes more than me, is she thinks she could talk to me as though like I have no value.
Right.
And at
I
that
agree with you
point
on
you
that.
have at that point you have to make a decision based on what you stand for, and if you have your own
Right.
self pride within yourself. All right, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I do feel like I agree with you on that. It shouldn't boil you down to dollar amounts. Like what we have here is two women who are just crashing out on social media. Both kids are getting talked about. Shit, but even they talking about each other's husbands as well. Like, yeah, yeah. At some point,
Who
I'm thinking like, if I was the man in this relationship, I'm reaching out to somebody.
Listen,
I'm
and this
reaching
is why
out waving a white. I'm reaching out waving a white flag. I don't care how it looks perception wise. You two need to relax because this is crazy and it's catty, it's gossipy, and it's all
And
stupid.
listen, this is why I said what I said at the beginning, which is why I feel like this is a good subject to dive into. What is the purpose of the men in their lives if not for situations like this? Because
To protect.
look, if me as an outsider who knows nothing about their personal relationships, which I don't want to know about their personal relationships,
Right.
outside of the fact that I see them publicly going at it, right? What is the purpose of the guys in their life other than impregnating them? And I don't say that to be disrespectful. We need to know because, gentlemen, the reason why I'm even discussing this episode again is not to be messy, because I don't want a messy channel. I don't enjoy these episodes. But it is
Right.
something to take away from something like this. What exactly are our roles in women's lives, especially on the big stage? And I say big stage meaning quote unquote success, because success is success means it means something different to everyone. All right, for me, success is making the kind of money where when I'm ready to go on a vacation, I could go on a vacation and I don't have to break out in a cold sweat when I got to take my card out of my pocket. That's success. And
Right.
and you notice when I said that, I didn't say anything about designer belts, a big chain around my neck, and things like that. Success for me, and I really mean it. I'm not, this is not something I'm just saying like, oh, he's capping. He would want the Lambo. Listen, would I want to drive a Lambo? Absolutely. But
Right.
realistically, fellas, and this is honorable men. It's not honorable boys. Realistically, fellas, would I want to drive a Lambo? Absolutely. Would I want to jump in the fastest cars? Absolutely. But realistically, the people that own that, how often are they driving those cars? Right? Because you could live in a rich neighborhood, but the rich neighborhoods aren't that big. So when you leave your gated community with your Lambo, where you driving around? Because now you got eyes on you because people are watching you in your car. You know, hence young Dolph, rest in peace. You know, but I don't want to sidetrack. And by all means, no mercy. Let them know. Like, that really isn't the goal. We might think it's the goal. I know it's pushed at us. I think you got to live long enough to understand that that's really not the goal. It looks nice, but when you really understand, when you're the 1% out there, people are watching you.
Yeah.
All these people, Mayweather, you see their garages, Rick Ross. Listen, I'm a fan of it. I want to one day go. I mentioned it on my channel. I want to one day go to the Rick Ross car show. But when you're driving all these cars, people are watching you. Most of the time, you're gonna need security with you every time you go someplace in those cars because people are watching you. And if you think you're stopping at a gas station with these cars?
I've seen Ross out before. Like I was in Soho. I specifically remember I was coming home from work, walking up the block, and it was just a whole bunch of Maybachs lined up. And it had the MMG, they all had the MMG logo on the back. I'm like, oh, that's Rick Ross, little caravan or whatever the case is. And everybody was watching. Like they stopped traffic.
Listen, it's cool. Even to experience it. If I was experiencing it, I would have took my phone out. I'm not saying I'm not gonna take my phone out and not say, "Wow, man, that looks." But that's not real. That's not real life. What real life is.
I did take a picture, by the way. I gotta find that. I don't know where I put that. I definitely took a picture.
And I definitely want to see it. I'm a Ross fan. But my thing is, listen. Again, what roles do the men have in their lives if not to intervene and tell both of these ladies, "Oh, chill out"? Right. And like I said, I wouldn't even just be telling my wife in the case of Nicki Minaj, and I wouldn't be just telling my girl in the case of Cardi. I wouldn't just be telling them to chill out. I'll say, like, not only are you going to chill out, but I've been talking with so-and-so, meaning the other person's significant other, and I'd be like, listen, we think y'all need to sit down. We're going to be there. We're going to have dinner together. We're going to bring the kids. This way you guys don't act a fool in front of the kids. And I know it's risky. We're going to take them to Disney World or something like that. Listen, and we're going to enjoy a time out as family and figure this out. Because at the end of the day, you guys are both successful and you guys are ruining your image, much less potential business deals, saying all this stuff on social media. It's more, you have more to lose feuding than you do if you guys just get along, and then the sky's the limit. You guys could do reality shows together. You guys could, whatever. You guys could, the sky, if they went on tour together, forget it. It's a smash. But
I feel like this. Yeah. With the stuff that they've already, done said and did to each other back and forth, I wouldn't even push for getting along and being friends. I would push for just, all right, can we be at peace?
Hey, that works too. Listen, I get it.
I'm gonna go for the bare minimum first, which is peace. The friendship and going on tour together, we worry about that later. But goddamn, can we get to a place of I'm speaking as if I'm with one of these girls. Can we get to a place of my child not being talked about? Can we get to a place of me as the man in the situation not being talked about when I have no situations with this girl?
And I'm glad you brought that up, because here's another thing, gentlemen, that's watching this channel and this episode, this collaboration of Honorable Men Discord and No Mercy Harlem, No Mercy TV. Here's another thing to consider, gentlemen. And here's why, it was divine intervention that I even thought of this when I was speaking to No Mercy earlier this afternoon. If you don't say anything, and I'm speaking to both gentlemen in the that's in relations with these women, if you don't say anything, you're still involved anyway. Because when it spills over, you're going to be at the forefront protecting your lady. Because if you happen to be in the venue together and something happens, it's not just going to be the security that gets involved. You guys are getting involved. Now, do I actually believe that at some point in time they're going to actually be close enough to swing on each other? I don't think so, but you just never know. Or you got the men are going to be dealing with the crazy fan from either side trying to do something to their lady. So again, gentlemen that are watching this episode, and even women that are watching this episode, I stand on my theory, my thought, that the men need to intervene at this point. Because then what are their purpose in their lives? Are the gentlemen's purpose in these women's lives just to take them shopping and take them fancy places and in different countries and stuff like that? Is that the purpose, or should it be to intervene in situations like this?
It should definitely be protecting, because me personally, as a man, one of your primary goals with a woman, it don't matter if it's mother, daughter, wife, girlfriend, side chick, etc., etc. This is universal. When a man is in the company of a woman, you keep that woman protected. That to me has just always been standard. Like, in any woman that I've been around can vouch for this. I'm talking about chicks I went to school with, chicks that I've worked with, etc., etc. Universally, I believe a man's job is always to protect any female that's in his company.
I agree.
Like, it's no, to me, it's no negotiating that. It's no debating that. It's no, like, that's just what it is. You feel what I'm saying? Like, me, I've been at battle events with my wife, and shit went down. And the first thought on my mind, let me get to my wife and get her out of here, make sure she's safe. Once I made sure, like, it was really a situation where it was my side versus another side. You feel me? I don't know how many battle rap fans on this channel, but I don't know if y'all remember the Goods versus Jim situation, where Goods sucker punched my man at the time on stage, right? At that time, while my man and his close friends was getting it on with Goods people, I'm trying to get to my wife so I could get her up out of there. And once I got her up out of there, and then the other girl that I was with, who was a girl of my business partner that I run my battle league with, once I got them out of there, then I went back to go check on my man and make sure he was good. You feel me? But that's always just top priority. Always top priority, making sure the woman is safe. You never want to go nowhere where the women feel like they can't be safe, because if the women feel like they can't be safe, then you're just going to be in an event full of dudes, and it's just going to be a sausage fest. So none of us want that. You know, we want to make sure things are comfortable for the women, because when the women get comfortable, they get comfortable with us, then we get the reward of that, whether it's, a situation at the end of the night, or whether it's just that woman's overall trust and trusting themselves to be around us, knowing that they're going to be good. Like, you always want that to be your reputation when it comes to the women. You don't want to be looked at as the creep. You don't want to be looked at as the guy that when stuff went down, you ran on them. Like, you don't want to be that. You always want to be the guy that women can feel like, yo, oh, he said he going out somewhere, I want to go with him because he gonna make sure I'm good. You always want that to be your reputation with the women.
And I have no disagreement with you where that's concerned. And I was thinking, as you were talking, I was thinking about the other feuds within in music in general, particularly in rap. And the only one that I could think of that was actually resolved was the Jay-Z and Nas. Now, correct me if I'm wrong with that, but the difference between anyone that I could think of and what's going on with the women is that men generally don't have anyone that's gonna stand in their place and be an advocate for them. You understand? The women have men in their lives, and it's the men's job. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. It's the men's job, like you pretty much covered just now, to do something about it, or else it's just never going to end for them. But unfortunately for men, when we're feuding and we're at war, it just is what it is. It's just going to end however it's going to end, and it's usually either one of the sides tries to put the olive branch out there, like in terms of what's going on right now with Dame Dash and Cameron. Dame Dash tried to put the olive branch out there. Cameron didn't accept. 50 Cent didn't accept.
Right.
But in those situations, it is what it is. He tried, but at least there was an effort on his part. But in situations like this, it's clear that neither one of them, Nicki or Cardi's, they they have the desire to even try that.
You know what's crazy? I wonder because I do know a lot of men that have like the same story that I have, like with my best friend. Like my best friend of we 37 right now. Yeah, my best friend of 30 years, right? Our first initial interaction, we was about to fight.
Mm.
You understand? And I have a couple of friends that, growing up, going to school together, everybody being knuckleheaded. Like I have a few friends that, we were, bumping heads early on, and then became a best of friends. And I'm pretty sure a lot of men, have those same tales. So it should be understood that men can come to a even playing field, and men can come together and squash their differences. But I've always felt like with women, they have a much harder time doing so. Women do not be wanting to once it's to the ceiling, they do not be wanting to come down. Like they really keep that scorn, bitter, kind of energy with each other. Like once you on a bad side, they just hate you for life. Like, and it's really tough to get them to mend shit because once women feel like they're right, they're right. Like think about arguing with your lady, right? It's hard enough for us to argue with our women, and even if we're right, be right, we still have to a lot of times take the L, even when we're the ones logically talking the most sense. So can you imagine somebody like Nikki, who's the super breadwinner in a relationship? Can you imagine somebody like Cardi, who's pregnant and super hormonal and emotional and everything right now? Like, I would imagine both of these women are not the easiest to communicate with at this very moment.
Yeah. Well, I think it's clear the only solution is the men get involved. I don't think there's really much more to add to this. I mean, you think there's anything else to add to this? I think it's.
Listen, man. I hope everybody stays safe. I hope everybody get a lot of money, and most importantly, like forget the two women that's being catty right now. Let's keep the kids safe. You understand? That's the one thing that we gotta always do. Keep the kids safe. If you're not gonna wave the white flag for yourself, wave it for your child. Wave it so that your child don't gotta go to school, being shown memes and made fun of and being the topic of blogs and stuff like that. Like, do it for the child. You understand? Do it for the child. Like that's who that's the future. You understand? When you're going out, you having all these kids that's you building the future of the planet. You feel me? So it's no reason for these children to be coming into a planet with their name already in debt, from people making fun of them online. And like, come on. You get what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, so for those children, regardless of this type of situation, once your parents are celebrities of some degree, you're gonna have to deal with the public's opinion on your parents. Unfortunately,
which is true.
It just makes it worse when there's a feud going on.
Right, because now these grown ass adults are attacking the children. Like imagine,
right.
Sometimes what I like to do is I like to take the internet out of it and let's translate it into a real life scenario. What if these two kids is in the park playing, and then somebody's mother comes pointing at the kid, hey, look at this kid gums, look at this kid, special ed or whatever the case is. Like how would you look at these women if you see them outside doing that? Like to each other's kids, like that would just look crazy. You get what I'm saying? So, I always feel like something that looks weird, something that would look weird in real life, probably shouldn't be done on the internet. You get what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, yeah, think they, like I said, man, peace. Do make the peace for the kids, yo.
So, I'm gonna wrap up by saying this, and then I'm gonna allow you to wrap up. But I'm pretty sure you wrapped up with what you had to say, but I'm gonna give the floor back to you right after saying this. I just want the takeaway to be that gentlemen that are watching this episode, if you find yourself in a scenario where your spouse is arguing with another female, obviously in pillow talk they're telling you how much they can't stand that other woman. it is your job, in my humble opinion, to make sure you're telling your lady, let it go. Now, there's layers to everyone else. There's always going to be a case by case scenario, because if it's a situation where the woman that your lady's with is popping her car tires, keying her car, there's layers. So I know you guys are gonna probably jump in the comments like, oh well, there is no telling my lady no if her car is getting keyed or her windows being broken. I get it. There's gonna always be a different scenario in place of what's going on right now with the words that are being spewed back and forth with Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. All I'm trying to say is, gentlemen, you have to be the one to intervene, and intervene with maturity and wisdom. Don't intervene if you're gonna be the gasoline to the fire, because that's not what this episode is about. It's not about making things worse. It's
right.
Be the man in the relationship and be wise about the decision you make, and be the wiser one if your lady is basically crashing out. All right, that's my takeaway on it. What's yours?
Me, like I said, man, if you're not gonna do it for yourself, do it for the kids. The kids is always, the end goal. Like everything I do for my son. You get what I'm saying? Like every decision I make, whatever I'm going to do, whether it's getting a new job, whether it's, a purchase, or, whether it's something, a new venture or whatever I'm going to embark on, I'm always thinking, okay, how will this affect my son? You feel what I'm saying? Like I had a little situation a couple years back. It came up on my Facebook memories not too long ago. And it was a situation that presented itself to me, while my wife was pregnant. And I was like, yeah, I'm approach and deal with this situation now. So just so it ain't nothing in the future, because when my son is around, best believe I'm super crashing out about him. You feel me? But everything we doing for the kids. You feel me? So
and that's an honorable thing to say, which is why you're a guest on this platform. Open doors for you at all times. You already know this. This is not the last time we're gonna have you on here.
No.
This is the warm up. It's only gonna get better. This is the warm up. And for those of you that don't know the background mishaps and headaches of a podcast, we were dealing with all types of technical difficulties, but we still here, and we were able to make what I believe a successful episode. Would you not agree?
Oh yeah, I definitely enjoy this conversation, and I feel like conversations like this need to be had very often.
Yes,
you understand? Like it can't just be the same old podcasters amping it up, picking a side. Oh, this person, and then you on your platform. This person don't even know you, but you attacking that person within the situation. And it's like, no, you need to be, putting positive energy out there, because at the end of the day, none of us want to see Nicki or Cardi in the grave or behind bars, all because of stupid internet shit. Because these two don't really have no real reason to be beefing. Like, it wasn't no money lost. It wasn't nobody that really got hurt crazy on either side. So it's like, why are these women going at it like this? You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, nobody should be out there adding fuel to the fire. We need progressive conversations like this. Of course, there's going to be platforms that do their little entertainment thing and stuff like that shit. Probably on my show, on my channel on Saturday, we probably going to have our jokes and stuff like that. Yeah. But overall, you have to have the balance. That's why I can come over to a platform like Honorable Men Discord. See, I got it right that time, right? I can come over to a platform like this, and we can have a progressive conversation about it, a more constructive conversation. But at the same time, come back to my platform every Saturday, 10 a.m., and probably have some jokes or more harsher critique, but still with a message at the end of it. You get what I'm saying? So, we always got that balance right there.
So listen. Like I said in the beginning, I appreciate you for being a part of this episode. definitely
Anytime.
take this time to plug in all your platforms, your IG, all the stuff that you got going on, your events if you got one coming up. If you don't have one coming up, let them know about the what you plan on doing in the next few weeks, next few months, and then we'll wrap with that.
Yeah, you can follow me on all my social media at No Mercy Harlem, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook. I'm on there. Everything. No Mercy Harlem, No Mercy TV. On YouTube, definitely No Mercy TV, right? Then I got my platform, my battle platform, the Trap New York. The Trap NY. You can look that up on every social media. It'll come right up, and just tap in with all the battles we got going on. We got battles that done did hundreds of thousands of views. We got some that did tens of thousands. And we have always been one of the premier platforms in New York for putting on new talent. So every once in a while, you'll see some big names on our platform. You'll see like a Shotgun Suge, a Daylight, or Danger Zone, or some of the well-known guys. But oftentimes, you'll see those guys going up against the newer guys who we want to give a shot to and help continue to grow the culture and, kind of give the lesser known guys a bigger platform. So, we just continue to do that. Right now, we don't have any events planned, but probably do something top of the year. Feel me? We're going to use the end of this year to promote everything we've been doing throughout the year and then start fresh next year, probably February and March, and, give y'all a nice dope event to start the year.
That's what's up, man. And I'll be looking out for that also, because as I told you before off air, I want to go out to one of those events. I've never had a chance to go to a live rap battle, so I'm all for it, especially one that you're hosting. I would prefer that over anything else because I actually know you. So when you have an event, let me know, and I'm definitely going to pull up and
definitely
get some footage for my reels and stuff like that.
Oh, no, definitely bring your mic out to an event because
No, for sure. It's gonna be out there.
All of the guys that I work with, right? They're young, they're up and coming, they hungry, and they would love the exposure just to even be on a platform like this, just to spread their message out to more people and things of that nature. And that's also part of what I like to do, in terms of like my networking, just to have other places to get my guys kind of situated.
Yeah, no.
So
I'm here for all of that. But as always, to the viewers watching this, I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and by all means, if you have something to say again, I'll see you in the comment section. And outside of that, stay honorable.